You are live, so that worked.
I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. I think we're live. We've been having a little bit of trouble here getting the live stream going here. It's been a couple of days. Actually, it's been a little over a week since we made the last video. So I figured we were out getting ice cream, as you know I do all the time, and figured we'd just talk to you a little bit about what's going on the channel and what's going on with cars and in car life in general. You know, what's going on with COVID has sort of created this crazy time for all of us. It's complicated the delivery of the SVJ, the production and delivery of the SVJ. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'll talk to you a bit about some other cars that I had in mind, which are also complicated by what's going on with the pandemic. But I'm going to try to take some of your questions live too as well. So let's kind of see how this goes. Okay. Let's see. What else? What do I want to tell you? Here we go. So we've got 12 people on live, and I want to see your questions here. Okay. So the first question is from King Ramella, and your question is, what's your next Lambo? Well, if you've been following me on the channel for a while, you know that I was given an allocation for the SVJ way back in the beginning. And I've been working on speccing this. Although there are 900 clues that were going to be made, I was speccing something really unique. So it was going to be very, very special, and it is going to be very special. But it's complicated by COVID, as well as the fact that this is a paint job altogether. What I'm trying to do is pretty challenging, and we've gone through several iterations with Lamborghini. Here we are. Car is not here yet. It'll probably be here sometime early next year is what I'm guessing. That's as much as I can say about it. It's really unique. You've heard me, if you listen to Tedward's podcast on YouTube here, you would have seen I described the project. It actually has a name. It's called Project Chaos. And let your mind run wild, because that's exactly what this project is. So I'm not going to say anything else other than it's called Project Chaos. And so it's still in the works. We'll see what happens. Hellcat, what's up, Hellcat? Josh, how are you, man? Let's see, a couple of other questions here. Hey, David, 868, good to see you, man. How did you create your wealth? Great question. Actually, if you haven't seen the videos that I've done on keys to success, go ahead and check those out. I think those are going to be very helpful. I think how I created my wealth, if I'm wealthy, if you want to say that, I think is almost less relevant than talking about what you want to do and how you get there. And again, you have to watch the success series, because it talks about a mindset. It also talks about some of the things you have to do to get there. And the problem is a lot of people kind of want certain things, but are not willing to necessarily put the time in, not willing to take the risk and sort of, step out of their comfort zone. So if you guys want me to do a live chat strictly around that, I'll set something up and you do it. If you want me to kind of walk through some of the important things, we're going to show you this Camaro here that just pulled in.
It has neons.
It's got neons under it. It's car life, But the bottom line is this: if you guys want me to do a series just on it, I will do it. I mean, I have a lot there, but if you want me to do very specifically some things, but that's really important. And you're absolutely right. Especially now, there's some great opportunities for you to invest in yourself and invest in things that will bring you wealth later. So we can certainly talk through that. Are you going to twin turbo the Huracan? The answer is no. If you've been on the channel before for a long time, you know that I've had a twin turbo car. It never made it back home to Pittsburgh. That was the Gallardo Superleggera, and that's still to this day the fastest car I've ever driven. That was underground racing. It was 1,500 horsepower. It was the first race version of their twin turbo system. It was amazing. But I kind of like a naturally aspirated engine. I like this car the way it is. I think it's plenty power, it's plenty fun, and I think it would probably change the dynamics. Maybe too much for me, so I'm going to keep it the way it is for now. Hey, blackout tinting, they're just on. What's up, guys? guys, go check out the folks at Blackout Tinting. They've taken care of the performance. They've done so many things. I'm sorry, to the perf behind me. They've done the clear bra. They've done the windshield. They've done the skid pad underneath so I don't scrape. God, they've done so many things, sir. I can't thank them enough. They're just wonderful, wonderful folks. What is my favorite supercar that I own? If it's the favorite car that I own, I try never to talk about this very much, but honestly, I love the Aventador. There's just something about that V12 platform, and the 50th anniversary is amazing. If you go hypercar, it would be a Pagani, and it's probably I would say the Huayra at this point. That's the thing that really does it for me. I also like the Koenigsegg, so there you go. Bradley, thanks, man. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, good. Okay, Josh and Blackout are legend. They're very, very true. How many cars do I have? For some people, too many, and for some people, not enough. Let's just put it that way. Right now in the garage, we have the V10 BMW M6. That's not going to go anywhere. We have the Huracan Performante. We have the 50th anniversary. I do love the i8. Let's talk about the RS6 Avant. So that car is going to be my next daily driver. Although you just saw BMW is going to do an M3 station wagon, essentially, an M3 Avant, or whatever they want to call it. So that may knock the RS6 Avant out of the fold, but I'm not really sure yet. I haven't decided. That car is even delayed by what's happened with COVID, so it is what it is, but we'll get there. So RS6 Avant is the next car that's coming. I may do a video on my spec, although maybe I don't want to reveal the spec. I usually surprise you guys with the specs later rather than kind of tell you up front. Any plans for a hypercar? Well, if you know me and you know that for a while that I actually had an allocation for a Huayra and decided against it, Huayra Coupe, because they had some really cool doors that we're going to do for the Roadster. Of course, DOT killed that, so that went out to the wayside. A hypercar will come. I don't buy my cars to sort of, well, I won't say that. Bottom line is I buy my cars because I enjoy them, not for clout. That's all I'm going to say to that. Will Motivation. Hey, Will. Guys, if you're not following Will's another great YouTuber. He's got, Will, how many Lamborghinis do you have now? I lose track. I think you sold the Gallardo, but Will is also into real estate. He does motivational stuff and just loves his cars. So he's a great guy to go check and follow on YouTube as well. Blizzard Droid, thank you. I love the Performante as well. Performante, it's a pretty big, pretty badass ride, and people around here are also checking it out, so it's pretty good. I do Supercharged. I do have merch. Actually, if you go to supercarspersonified.com, you'll see merch online. You can order it there. I haven't really pushed it, and we've got some new merch that we're designing that's coming up. So, which will include actually some face masks as well. These are not going to be the knockoff stupid stuff. These are, if you know what I do, you know that I won't sell you something that won't protect you. So we're going to do something that's really good and really worthwhile. We're going to get some t-shirts, some hoodies and stuff. And again, I don't sell merch and I don't push it because it's not there for me to make money. It's for me to share my passion with the folks that follow me, so I'm going to get that to you as well. But now, if you want to order some t-shirts, they're on supercarspersonified.com. Go over, you can order it, and we'll get those out to you as soon as we can. Brandon HTV, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Glad to see that we motivate you. That's one of the things I do for this channel. Is one of the original automotive YouTubers. I'm not doing this again for clout or anything. I do it to share my passion and to motivate people. So I'm not out here trying to stunt or anything like that. So just so that you guys know. So I really appreciate that support, Brandon. João Gracio from Portugal. I know I messed that up. Thanks, man. Thanks. It's pretty late there now, right? It's probably after midnight. You're 5 hours ahead. So what is that? That is probably like 2 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. CJS Custom Decals, Canada as well. That's awesome. Hey, well, I am not a legend, my friend. I'm just me doing my thing and trying to help people here. You put my order in April in my SVJ Roadster, and they're saying expected in February. Yeah, that's essentially around the time frame of mine. It's going to be first quarter. And by the end of the first quarter of next year, my car should be in. What do you think about Stradman's twin turbo Gallardo? Again, I had a Superleggera underground racing twin turbo, 1500 horsepower. Still to this day the fastest car that I've ever driven. I said that earlier. And so I love James. James is one of the other YouTubers that I absolutely love and respect. I would say that dude in blue is another one. Ignition Tube, Tedward, the Topher are some of the folks that I watch regularly and are truly genuinely interested in uplifting the YouTube community. You know, unfortunately, there's some folks that don't necessarily share that mindset. So, Bradley says, I remember the day Doc allowed me to park my S5 beside his Avenger. Oh my God! At Mercedes-Benz in Pittsburgh, take a gorgeous picture. You know me. I love sharing this passion. I kind of want you guys to do that as well. Do you have any eyes on any domestics? The one domestic that I have my eye on would be the Ford GT, but that's not. I don't think that fits right now. Maybe sometime in the future. Other cars domestic cars that I think. Would be good. I don't know. Match the one behind the camera here. I would say the C8 Corvette. He was sitting there going, C8 Corvette, it's an American supercar. Right, Matt? All right, we'll talk about this another. We're actually going to do a video on some supercars and stuff like that. Verzo, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping in. And Guilherme. L4, again from Brazil. São Paulo, was there a few years ago. Absolutely love Brazil. I need to come back, obviously, hopefully after we pass this pandemic, but it's just an awesome time. Would you consider hosting a car rally? I've done a bunch of rallies. I think, you know what, everybody wants to do a rally, but to be honest, I think to do a rally and do it well, you need to plan and you need to put the time and effort. People think rallies are just jumping in a car, mapping out a direction and going, and that's not good. A good rally is somebody who's organized it, run the route a couple of times to make sure things are good, and that's kind of what we want to do. So I don't have that time, and I certainly don't have the skill sets to do a good rally, although I could learn. But yeah, I'm not going to do my own at this point. I'm going to have the professionals do it and do it well. So it's fun, you know? That's different from just going and running out with your friends and kind of doing that. Any updates on when we expect to see? So DC2 Mega Boost, third quarter of next year. I'm sorry, first quarter of next year. I hope to see the SVJ. Fingers crossed. And hopefully they get the paint right and everything done, and we'll be good. Have you ever seen a white Huracan in Pittsburgh? Yes, I have. I know that white Huracan. Argentina Gonza, thanks for stopping in, man. It's a 610, yes, I know the car. I have been to the Lamborghini factory 4 times. The last time was to spec the SVJ. And for them to show me a quarter of a car, of my car painted with a special color. That was amazing. So if you ever get a chance to go, you definitely have to go there for sure. C9 MB, I hear you. One of the most underrated. You know, maybe it's because I don't do burnouts and I don't do things necessarily for hype. What you get from me is you'll get my honest opinion on things. You'll get me driving. I'll do the reaction videos, but it's not all about reaction. I'd rather motivate people to be the best they can be and to achieve success. So, King Isma from Italy. I love Italy. Italy is one of my favorite countries in Europe. Love it. I love Rome. I love northern Italy. I love also Monaco, and Munich. So, shout out to King Isma. Arlo, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I saw Chaz Boseman this morning is when I think I saw it. It's tragic. I mean, he was like one of those genuine guys, and all the great people. I'm just so over 2020. It just needs to go. It needs to end. I'm over it. ZL Thomas LZ, thank you, man. I mean, what you see is what you get. If you've seen me on the channel here and you've seen me and met me in person, you know, I am. What you see here is what you see when you meet me in person as well. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Bradley, thanks for the thumbs up on that one too as well. I should buy a Venturi 400 trophy. Actually, that's actually a great car. How many Huracan Performantes in purple? I don't know now. I mean, there are so many people that have copied this car, which is good. It's all good. Although I've changed it up a little bit, but it's kind of cool to see a couple of these that are now like almost like twins. There's some things in the interior that are a little different than the other ones, but incredible. Oh, Hiroshi Agawa, thanks, man. Wow, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Want to be on the same level, inspirational. Thank you very much from Chicago. I'm hoping to get to Chicago, and I'm hoping to get to Chicago with the car before the end of the year, before winter rolls around. You know, I love Gold Coast, but I just love. That's where I drove the Veyron, the only Veyron that I've driven. That was from there. So thank you, Hiroshi, and I appreciate the support, man. I'll send you. Do me a favor, drop me a DM, Hiroshi, and I'll send you a couple of items. Okay? Thank you very much for that support. The car is amazing. Thank you. Would you ever get a Hennessy Venom GT? Funny you should ask that. I've driven, and then there was it's faster than the Veyron. That's true, but it's not faster than the new Chiron. But the Hennessy Venom GT, as you know, we had it here in Auto Show in Pittsburgh. It's a finicky car, and it's because it's modified and it's based on the Lotus Elise and all that stuff. It's a good car, but it does need to be driven, and again, it's a little finicky. But it's a fun car. I've never driven it, but I hear it's a great car. What's your job because it pays well? Blazing Bird, it's not important what I do, it's important what you want to do. Poor Matt's on
YouTube.
What about the SF90? I like the SF90. I'm not so sure I like the design. I like the power, and the interior is better. Unfortunately, newer Ferraris to me have sort of lost a little bit with the twin turbo and all that sort of stuff. So I'm a little less excited about it. Would you get a GT2 or a GT3 RS? Absolutely. At some point they will come. Probably the GT2 RS, although the GT3 RS I drove on track locally, and I've been driven in it really hard at Thermal by a racing car driver, and that was incredible. In fact, I have a video because the only thing I said in that was wow, 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 wow. So go check it out. I do know Damon and David and the DDE folks. I know them very well. I know that they bought a P1 as well. Congratulations to them. They're doing awesome. Different question though, have you ever looked at the R8 V10 Plus? Absolutely. Also drove an R8 V10 through Michelin pilot experience. I think that was 2 years ago with ignition tube. Love that car. A buddy of mine locally has an R8 V10 manual. He's not with us, he ditched us earlier, but Brandon, that's for you, buddy. How many horsepower that Lambo have? The one behind me from the Philippines, that's Kim Minju. That is 640. And interestingly enough, that 640 horsepower from a V10, if you remember the Murcielago, the final horsepower on that was 670 in the SV, but the regular Murcielago was 640. So 2 cylinders less and a liter and a half less out of a V10. Just absolutely incredible. Let's see, if you go over to Chicago, Iron Gate Moto Condos. I don't know that, but I'll go check it out. Did Lambo do anything special? Oh, my Ballin' on a Budget. I love the name, by the way. Yes, that's the reason my SVJ is not here yet, is because it is custom exterior, custom interior, like crazy. Blazing Bird, well, you retracted that. And that's his SF90. I answered that one already. What vintage cars are you into? Vintage cars. Okay, I'm a BMW guy, so I still think the E30 is vintage. I love that car. The 2002 is vintage. I actually like the C2 Corvette, particularly the one with the split window, split back. That's a C2, and that was 65. Matt, you're the Corvette guy. I think at 65 was the split back, split window Corvette. I just love the look of that car. And then what are the other ones? Superbird is, I'm thinking American cars now. And then of course, if I look at Italians, which are the ones I love, you go Miura, Countach, Diablo, you name it. And of course there's some as I mentioned, some BMWs in there.
Old minis.
And the old minis as well. My dad was a huge mini fan, so old minis. Taunt Leopard watching from Alabama, thanks man. I've not been to Alabama. But someday maybe. Are we going to see an SF90 though on my channel? May see an SF90 on the channel, owned by me. Probably not anytime soon. Ziotic Kills, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in. The new 250 is smooth. That's cool. Would you buy a Bugatti? Not really. There are a bunch of other cars I would buy before a Bugatti. I have. I've been driven in a Bugatti. I've not driven. Besides the Veyron, I have not driven the Chiron or anything like that. You're not a Porsche fan, Brad. I hear you. It's not for everybody. Where are the allocations for all the Sions, both the coupe and convertibles or roadsters, are all gone. So I am not getting one of those. 458 Italia, absolutely, in a heartbeat. In fact, I've been looking at them again, and there's the Camaro again. If you ever visit Alabama, visit Daphne. Okay, got you. Would you ever wrap your cars? I mean, I could just to change them, but I always love the specs that I do, and I've done some things to change them a little bit, but it's kind of like the stuff that I have. Oh, the Gumpert Apollo IE, that thing is ridiculous. It's if you ask me, it's pretty damn sick. What's your thoughts on the McLaren 600 LT? I love the 600 LT, actually 675 LT, more than the 720S, except the P1. I mean, the Senna is sort of so-so for me, but other than that, I think that those two cars are probably the purest driving cars in the McLaren line. The only problem is, of course, McLarens depreciate like crazy, and they're not particularly reliable. All right, I'm going to take a couple more questions, and I'm going to call it quits here because we've been on for a while, and this was just going to be a quick talk. And I know Matt's arms are getting tired because he's not holding a gimbal. His gimbal are literally his two hands, so I appreciate it. Danny from Massachusetts, thanks for stopping in, and Pixel from New York as well. Supercharged, thanks for stopping in, man. I really appreciate it. One of my thoughts on chameleon wraps, I think they're really cool. I think, I love that people personalize the cars for themselves, but again, will it be on one of my paints? One of my paint jobs is not chameleon, so don't worry about it, you didn't guess it, but it's complicated enough, and I kind of that's one of the reasons why it's taking so long. Big question for me, what's your opinion on the Jaguar F-Type? I love the Jaguar F-Type. I think the new versions are a little more interesting. I like the V6 is more balanced. The V8 was a little front heavy when I drove it, and so it kind of dived into the corners a bit. But it is what it is. I am at Brewster's, although I won't be here for much longer, so I'm gonna quit. I think Matt has to use Matt's got to go, so we're gonna finish up here. One of my thoughts on leasing cars. If you guys want me to make a video on leasing versus buying cars and some considerations around it, leave it in the comment below, and I'll do that. I think it's a good topic. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks again, and we'll see you again in the next video. Do me a favor and go ahead hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on, because I may do a few more of these live streams. Thanks again, guys. See you soon. Peace.